Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you caught the double jointed live stream on Saturday morning, the triple jointed live stream with me, Greg, and Curtis, then you know that we've already gone over our top 10 Four Horsemen releases of the year, the top 10 everything else releases of the year. But a lot of people were asking me in the comments, they were saying, hey, where's the love for Star Wars Black Series or Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe Classified Series? And while each one of those had some banger releases, I knew that I was saving my top 10 retail releases for a video like this. That's why they were conspicuously absent from that video. So without further ado, here are my top 10 retail releases of 2025. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Over the past year, Articulated Empire has become your trusted online retailer. They carry all the latest lines like Mythic Legions, Valiverse, AWOC, Zesray Studios, and much, much more. They ship your items quickly and securely. You'll be quite happy with how Steve and his team follow through with their care and attention. Articulated Empire also offers free shipping over $75 and no tax except for Illinois residents. So head over to articulatedempire.com today and build your empire. All right, so what do I mean by retail figure? Well, specifically what I mean is any figure that you could walk into a regular retail store and purchase. So I'm talking about your Walmart, your Target, like a GameStop, a Best Buy, even an Ollie's or Ross, but typically Ollie's and Ross are figures that came out last year. I'm also excluding figures that are in lines that are in retail, but are also those particular figures were not found in retail. A good example is I would very easily add the G.I. Joe Classified Series Wild Weasel on this list, as he was one of my absolute favorite Joe releases this year. But you can't walk into a store and buy Wild Weasel. He was only packed in the HasLab Rattler. Also, there was a really nice Black Series Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader Bespin dual set, and I don't know if that's sold in stores. I know that I got it on Hasbro Pulse, where I think it was an exclusive, but it may actually wind up in a GameStop. I don't know, but there are just certain releases that, because of the way that you have to buy them, I didn't count them, so they may be in that line. So these are just strictly figures that I think you can just walk into the store and buy off the shelf. And that's what I mean by retail. So let's get going with my number 10, which is the Dragon Ball Z Son Goku Daima version. Now, this is a figure that people who know me know that I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball. I just call everything Dragon Ball Z, by the way. I know that there are different things like Dragon Ball Super, or like in this case, Dragon Ball Daima. But my friend Scott got this figure and was like talking about how awesome it was and how fun it was to pose. So I picked one up, and he is indeed right. This figure just has so many fun face and hand options. There's different skirt pieces you can add. The dude is like super freaking posable. It's on like this new body system from what Scott tells me, and it's pretty dang awesome. And I absolutely love this figure because I walked in, I believe I got this at my local Walmart. I picked it up. I think it was like $35, and it was so good that just recently I found this guy clearanced for $30, and that is the Vegeta Daima. And I was like, hey, I'll go ahead and pick that guy up because I enjoyed this guy so much. So there you have it. My number 10 is going to be Son Goku Daima. And the only reason he's number 10 and not higher up on that list is only because I don't know anything about Dragon Ball. I'm not a huge Dragon Ball fan. I am trying to watch the Daima series right now. I just started it last night, and so I'm going to go through it, and it seems manageable. It seems like a very small series, so I'm going to go through that. But since I'm not a big Dragon Ball fan, but I am a fan of this figure, that's why he's number 10 on my list. Number 9 on my list is going to be the Star Wars The Black Series Sebulba. This is definitely a figure that I have been waiting on for a very long time, and I love how big this guy came out. He's larger than I expected him to be, but he's in perfect scale with like the Anakin that came out this year, the young Anakin. And I absolutely really love this guy. This headpiece does come off, which is really nice. It has a very nice leathery texture to it. It's got some clear lenses for his goggles, which is great. And then Sebulba just has like a beautiful sculpt and a gorgeous paint job all the way around. The articulation and engineering of this figure is really cool. Of course, his legs. And the way that they bend and rotate and articulate, and the way that Sebulba, the way he walks on his hands and then drives with his feet is really cool. You can see the intricate work in the loincloth piece, which is like a separate piece. It's just like, this is just an absolute banger of a release. And yeah, it's the same price as like your standard figure, but when you think about the fact that there's like no parts reuse. Like they can't reuse these parts on any other figure. It's only going to be on Sebulba. And the fact that they sculpted like one hand to be able to reach in there and grab his goggle, the way he adjusts it in the film, is just crazy. It was so cool to pick this guy up and to pick up young Annie and then Padme this year. It was so great. Made me go back and watch the prequels again because I hadn't seen them in quite a while. And man, they are just a lot of fun. So yeah, number 9 on my list, the Star Wars Black Series, Sebulba. Number 9 on my list is Psylocke from Marvel Legends Gamerverse 2-pack with Thanos, what me and my friends have started referring to as a hostage figure, because we're calling them hostage figures if they come in a 2-pack packaged with a figure that we don't want or need, and this figure is being held hostage by the other. Of course, she came in the Gamerverse 2-pack with Thanos. I didn't need another Thanos. I already had one, so I split this pack with a friend of mine who wanted the Thanos, but not necessarily the Psylocke. This Psylocke is great. I've always loved Psylocke, one of my favorite X-Men, and I've needed one in my collection for quite a while, and this one was an absolute banger. New tooling, great articulation, great accessories. Now, in the pack, she does not come with the sword. I had that from a different release, I believe. I love the hand options she comes with. I love her little butterfly psychic effect. She comes with an additional head, a bunch of other hand options, and then some effect pieces for her hands, her psychic blade. This is just an all-around banger of a figure. The sculpt is great. The paint apps are great. Head to toe, I absolutely love this figure, and therefore she had to be on my list as one of my top Marvel Legends of the year. And there she is at, what are we? Number 8. Number 8. My number 7 figure of the year is going to be the Jada Toys Dhalsim. Jada Toys had some amazing Street Fighter figures this year, with Sagat being like their first big, huge hulking body of that style. Blanca was another great one, and I couldn't just fill up my my slots with all of these fantastic Street Fighter figures from Jada, but Dhalsim, who I never really cared for in the game. He's not one of my mains. I hardly ever play him. But this figure is so much fun with the swappable, stretchy, bendy, extended legs and arms, and the bangles and the real metal earrings, the head sculpts he comes with, the hands. He just comes with so much stuff. And out of the package, yeah, this guy is pretty fantastic. Now, of course, he was missing the Yoga Flame head and the Yoga Flame effect. Those came later in a more deluxe package that was only sold on their website through the Next Level Club. That's why I didn't include them in this review, in this list, because those were not bought at retail. But this figure is, and just out of the package, what he comes with is a lot of fun. I absolutely have had a blast posing this guy throughout the year. He is just absolutely incredible with the display options, the way he balances, the way you can swap out all of the stuff. Like, Yeah, this is just a fantastic release and one of the one of the better Jada Street Fighter releases, which is crazy to think of because every one of their releases is fire. And this is also one release that I am interested to see how Storm Arena is going to improve upon this because I'm not sure you really can. This is pretty perfect out of the package. All right, number 6 on my list is another release from Jada Toys. They are absolutely killing it this year, and this is the Creeper from their Scooby-Doo line. I haven't yet purchased the Mummy. I'm going to. I need to get that figure in hand. I've messed around with it. Scott let me play around with his one day while we were recording an episode of our show, which was really cool. And I love the Mummy. He's great, and the Shaggy is okay. I'm probably not going to get the mystery gang, the Scooby Gang. I'm probably not going to get them on Mystery Inc. I just love these old school monsters. And the fact that not only do you get the unmasked head to see the old villain behind the mask, you also get the yanking mask effect, which is crazy. So whoever it was, and Scott and I think, said this in our podcast when we were talking about these, like whoever thought to give the stretchy mask effect, like the pulling off mask effect to these guys, whoever thought to do that is just absolutely brilliant because it is such a key, it's such a key iconic thing from the cartoon, but to put that in toy form, just it's over the top. It's just absolutely over the top. You got the stretchy effect. The Mummy comes with wraps that unwrap and the head underneath. It's just absolutely fantastic. The sculpt, the color work, the articulation. I was going to put Tony the Tiger on this release, but then when I got the Creeper in hand, he looks so beautiful and it's just so iconic and so nostalgic. I grew up watching these. I've watched all of these again with all 3 of my kids, and we love Scooby-Doo. We love the monsters, and I am so here for every single. I hope Jada makes every monster that ever appeared in a Scooby-Doo episode. I'll buy every one. All right, cracking the top 5, we are going to have another Marvel Legend, and this time it is going to be the Deadpool and Wolverine. And I know what you're saying. You're saying to yourself, well, Mark, that Wolverine didn't come with the sleeveless arms. You're right, it didn't. It came with regular clothed arms, but it also came with the head, which he never had the head, the mask on, and the clothed arms on at the same time. He didn't, but he did have this really awesome, probably one of the best likenesses I've ever seen come out of the Hasbro Marvel Legends team. This head sculpt is fantastic. But now we just saw this week, the new wave of figures was revealed, and now we are getting the sleeveless battle damage version. We're also getting the brown suit Wolverine that needed to come with these heads, but he doesn't. So again, Marvel team going to Marvel team. But it just is what it is. But regardless of that fact, even if these were the fully clothed arms, it wouldn't make a difference. This figure is still phenomenal. The sculpt is great. The claws are nice and straight. The uniform is super nicely detailed. I love the look of the mask. And even though this head is so incredible, I mean, just look at that likeness. It's insane. But even though this is so incredible, I still keep this head on him. On my shelf because I just think he just looks just awesome that way. I just think he looks so good with that mask. We've waited so long, but look at that. I mean, that is just absolutely fantastic. And the fact that this is just a, $25 retail figure is insane. And that's why he's so high up on my list. I didn't expect that there would be many McFarlane figures on my top 10 retail figures of the year list, but this is one that definitely made the cut. This is the Batman Returns Michael Keaton Batman, and this figure is absolutely flawless. I mean, would I love, of course, for there not to be visible pin joints? Of course, but McFarlane's gonna McFarlane, right? But everything else is perfection. The color of the belt, the symbol, the fact that we can do something that he couldn't do in the movie, and that's actually turn his neck side to side, is absolutely brilliant. The face sculpt is near perfect. The articulation, it is what it is for a McFarlane. I think, listen, this is one of those times where the articulation limitations of the figure at least match the articulation limitations of the actor in the suit. It wasn't very posable and mobile in that suit. We do get a really nice cape. This is much better than we normally get from McFarlane Toys. It's properly wired. It has a strong enough wire to hold the shape, the texture, the look and feel of it on the shelf. This figure is, for all intents and purposes, pretty freaking flawless. Now, the price point, I think this guy was $34.99, and now with the tariff prices, he's probably up to like $37.99 because this is a theatrical collection, whatever that means. But he does come with a couple of extra hands, his grapple gun, and a batarang, so we're not just left out in the cold. He does come with the card and the base, so, you know, we do get some fine additions with the accessories, but otherwise, I can't think of a better figure to add on the list than this McFarlane release, and that's why he's so high up at number 4. Now, of course, I could do an entire top 10 list just on G.I. Joe Classified series. There were so many banger releases, even releases that just came out. Like last week, I just got Sci-Fi. I could very easily have put Sci-Fi on this list. He's so incredible. But when it came down to it, and I went over my list over and over and over again, trying to figure out which Classified series figure would make the cut, I kept coming back to a figure that is just so good. And I promise you, I would have never guessed. If I did a top 25 G.I. Joe Classified series releases, I would not have guessed this guy would have made it. But that's because he's just so freaking good, and he just kind of came out of nowhere. And that is Crystal Ball. They went so hard on this figure, harder than they needed to go. The head printing, the face paint looks incredible. The sculpt on the jacket, all of the buckles being painted from a company that doesn't like painting the back of an action figure. This is just incredible. The Tampo tattoo work on the arms, on the chest, on the other arm, the translucent green blades and accessories he comes with, all of the paint and sculpt work. This is just a flawless, absolutely ridiculous figure. I love all the new and added craziness that they added to this character. The fact that you can pair him with the I always want to say Ghost Viper, but I don't think that's right. But the other Viper that comes with all of the green accessories, you can put the green accessories on him. I think the way that they did that is amazing. You've got his little crystal ball. You've got a shield effect if you wanted to put it on his shield. You get extra hands. You get the hypnotic shield, the lenticular shield like we had when we were kids. This is a flawless victory. It's what this is. This guy is incredible and easily the best G.I. Joe series figure, classified series figure released this year. Thank you, Hasbro, for going so ham on this figure. You didn't have to go this hard, but you absolutely did. And I knew the minute I reviewed this guy that he was going to be on my top 10 figures of the year. And that's not discounting all the other stellar releases that we had this year. Mainframe. My gosh, there were so many really good ones that we've been waiting on for a long time. But yeah, this guy, he just really stole 2025 from the rest of the line. Number 2 on my list is another Marvel Legends Cinematic Universe figure, and that is the Daredevil Born Again TV series, Matt Murdock Daredevil. The suit is incredible. The sculpt, the paintwork, that head, I mean, you can tell that that's Charlie Cox underneath the mask all day long. The nice butterfly articulation, the hand choices, the weapon choices. It's sheer perfection. This is absolutely one of my all-time favorite releases. I haven't had it that long, just a couple of months. The Punisher that came out too, he's great, but I immediately swapped out the sad face for a custom head. That's why I felt like I couldn't really put that figure on this list. But yeah, this Daredevil is incredible. It makes me so excited for like the next release that we're going to get with his like darker, like the Black Shadowlands style release. This figure is peak. Like I have no complaints. I guess if there was only one other thing I could have wanted in the package, it might have been an unmasked head and maybe a helmet that was empty so he could hold it. But I mean, you can kind of get away with that, just holding this head with another head swap in his hand. But yeah, this figure is just incredible. I've had so much fun posing it. Probably the reason he's so high on the list is because there's only one other figure on my list that I think I've spent more time this year posing and just leaving it on my desk, other than this guy. And that's why he barely got eked out. Otherwise, I think this might have been my number one figure of the year. If there was one figure that I spent more time on my desk playing with, that stayed on my desk the longest, it is this figure. And if you would have told me last year that my number one retail figure of the year would have been a McFarlane Toys release, I would have told you were crazy. But it happens to be true. Now, I'm not saying that this is a perfect figure. This figure does have its flaws. But I just had the most fun posing this figure. That's why I'm not saying this is the best figure that come out in 2025. He's the one that I had the most fun with, and that is the McFarlane Toys Theatrical Edition Superman. Now, this is the deluxe edition that comes with the soft goods cape, the wired cape. A few problems is the fact that the cape's not wired along the bottom. When a cape is not wired along the bottom, you can get some posing, dynamic posing on the sides, but you're going to have this happening. Take the extra time and put a wire across the bottom. This guy really needs a custom cape, which I think I probably will invest in. You still have the limitations of a McFarlane figure as far as posing. You do have the pins. I'm sure that when we get this figure from like Mafex or SH Figure Arts, it's going to be amazing. Maybe Mafex. I love the head sculpt, and the paint is very nice and clean. You do get some swap out face plates, although this one doesn't really. I mean, this is your happier face. That's your more a little more concerned. These are so different. It really should have been more angry face. Then you have his eyes burn up face from the end of the film. He does come with Crypto, which is really nice. I kind of wish Crypto was more in like a flying pose and not just a standing pose. But honestly, I played with this guy so much. He stayed on my desk. I've put him in so many freaking poses. Like, again, I'm not saying this is the best figure to come out in 2025. I'm saying that it was the one that stayed on my desk the longest, I had played with the most, and I had the most fun with. And that's why he is number one on my list. Again, like I said, not a perfect figure, but just one of the ones I had the absolute most fun with this year. So you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of my top 10 list? Did I get it right? Did I get some bangers on my list? Did I miss any? Is there any figures that should have been on my list that you're like, oh, well, what about this? Let me know. Let me know what your top 10 list is down in the comments down below. Be sure to check out our podcast, which comes out every 2 weeks, called Across the Toyverse, wherever you download your podcast. And be sure to check us out over at Instagram at Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I am your Saturday Morning Toy Collector, Mark, and I will see you guys in 2026.